So how's it going, guys? I'm here to talk about the Batman trailer that was just released, and I'm not just saying it like that, it's called The Batman. So we've called it everything else. So there was actually a show called The Batman. You know, it was actually an animated series. It was on Kids WB. You know, very, very late Kids WB. The Batman. Didn't really care for it. Didn't really care for the whole style and the animation and everything like that. But this has nothing to do with that. This is a very, very dark Batman. And you may be asking yourselves, well, didn't we just have a very dark Batman with, you know, the Dark Knight trilogy and all that? And that's right. And I'm kind of getting really sick of this obsession with trying to make Batman as dark as possible, make it as depressing as possible, you know, also while trying to make it as realistic as possible. It's like, to me, I don't think I've ever talked about this before on this channel. I've talked about the Batman movies a number of times, but I have not talked about, like, what's my favorite one. It's 1989 Batman by Tim Burton. That is still the best Batman movie to me. Why? Because it's dark, but not too dark where it's just trying so hard to be super dark. And you might be saying, well, that's Frank Miller Batman. It's like we've forgotten all about, like, the Bob Kane Batman, like, back in the day, like how Batman actually started off. Because Batman didn't start off as super serious. It's only until Frank Miller took over that was this dark, disturbing, you know, Batman like that, you know, like the way how Christian Bale did. And that's not a knock at Christian Bale. That's not a knock at Christopher Nolan. You know, that's not a knock at all the other Batman movies, because The Dark Knight is a good film. Batman Begins is a good film. You know, Batman, Ben Affleck. I mean, it's gotten me a lot of controversial comments and opinions, but I'm a big fan of Ben Affleck as Batman, and that's what's going to make me want to see the Flash movie. I'm more excited about the Flash movie to start off. So, like, what did I think about this trailer? So now you know, like, that's where I stand with Batman. And I'm not saying that, you know, let's make Batman 60s Batman and just make it all silly and make it, like, you know, a big joke and all that. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm so sick of them trying to make it so dark and disturbing, and that's just, they keep on pushing it to that one side of the spectrum, when really, after the Dark Knight trilogy, it really couldn't be pushed any further. And now, okay, now this is what we're getting. I feel like this is table scraps Dark Knight. And okay, many people, okay, first of all, I'm kind of sick of this whole thing where everyone bashed this movie. So, you know, I even fell into the trap. There was a screenshot shown of, you know, Batman with the little gratings over his eyes. Okay, and that actually is a suit in here. It doesn't look exactly like that, but it's kind of like when he's developing the costume. You can see the costume goes through stages. There's even a part where he's, you know, got the mask over him, you know, kind of like there's a mask mandate going on, you know, like even in the Batman universe, that's to protect his identity, of course. But it's kind of still funny that it's in there, 2020 and all. So, you know, we've got this super emo looking Bruce Wayne. And, like, I'm just saying, like, how did we get from Michael Keaton to this like, I'm sorry, guys, I don't care what anyone says. I'm not jumping on this bandwagon of Robert Pattinson, you know, love fest all of a sudden, just because he's dark and he's you know, the other end of the Twilight spectrum now. He's far from that, right? And not really, because he's still pale looking. He still looks depressed. Like, Bruce Wayne is dark and brooding, but he's not supposed to be super depressed all the time. Like, Michael Keaton wasn't like that. Christian Bale wasn't like that. I'm so sad all the time. He's just, you know, and like they're trying to do, and I get what they're going for, these artistic shots in the trailer, you know, and I'm sure maybe I'll think about them differently when I see them in context, but like he's staring into the distance. I've never laughed in my life. Like, just come on. That trailer, I'm just telling you, it's trying so hard to be dark, mysterious, and brooding. And I'm just like, I know that that's the Batman that a lot of people enjoy more. But I'm sure there's a lot of people where they're like, okay, let's dial it back a little bit. We don't need to go that far where Batman's just staring into the distance, contemplating on how he's, you know, because the thing is, he still has a kill code, right? You know, so we can't give him this murderous intent look like through the movie. But it looks like that's what it's gonna get. Like, you know, they show he's like really like pounding on this one thug when he's confronted by a group of them. And it's, you know, really like violent and you could really hear the punches. And I mean, that's cool and everything. I'm not saying that it's not. Like, okay, that was a good little bit from the trailer. But I just think it's way too dark. And people talked about, you know, the cinematography and the lighting in the movie in the comments on the YouTube video where I watched the trailer, and I got to agree. I mean, let's get a little color in there, right? You know, like, we could still make it dark, but make it a bit more colorful. It doesn't have to be so drab. I mean, you know, even the color palette, why not substantial, was still better in the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, it still wasn't as dreary. Like, I don't know, but when I was watching this trailer, I'm just like, I'm going to guess that, you know, and I'm not going to guess, I kind of know that that's what they're going for here. That's what the director, that's what the filmmakers were going for here. It's dark and dreary, it's Batman, and, you know, he's really angry, and I get that that's what I'm supposed to be taking away from this trailer, but it's too much. You know, 2020 has not been a happy year, and we need to have the super depressing Batman. Like, could we at least make it a little fun? You know, and the Riddler is going to be super serious. He's not going to be like, you know, chuckling. I'm not saying he has to be off the wall like Batman Forever, Jim Carrey. You know, but like, the Riddler is not known to really be this super serious guy. Like, could he not be the Riddler from the Arkham games? That would be a perfect Riddler. He's not too wacky. He's kind of like the Riddler from the animated series. You know, you could just maybe dial up the darkness just a bit, the nefarious tone. But I mean, like, you've watched Gotham and everything. The Riddler is not this serious. I mean, they're making him like cover his face and everything. They're making him look like just a total maniac. I mean, you know, just even the way they started this trailer off, the first thing you see is a guy's, you know, a head all duct taped and stuff. I'm just like, it's gonna be one of those movies where they're just gonna try to like push the envelope and try to make this even darker than the Frank, you know, Miller comics. I mean, and I'm just like, I've had enough of it already. It's enough with like Batman screaming at everybody and just total darkness, dark color palettes, villains just being twice as evil as they were originally envisioned. Don't get me wrong, this is not like a bad trailer or anything. It's not like, oh my god, this looks like a bad, terrible movie. No, it actually is pretty decent. But I'm just saying, after the Dark Knight trilogy, this is like, you know, this does not look like Batman. Robert Pattinson, as I said, I don't think I stressed it enough, like, you know, when I was talking about him staring at the camera, but this is not a good looking Bruce Wayne. You know, Michael Keaton was a good looking Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? Like, you compare it to the way he was drawn in the comics, and I get different artists drew Bruce Wayne differently, so people will probably argue that point, and go ahead if you want to, but I feel like, you know, this is just too much. Like, the way how they had his hair combed down, parted in the middle and everything. That's not Bruce Wayne. That's not how he looks to me. And this is my opinion. I just don't think that he is the right look for Bruce Wayne. And the other thing that took me out of this is, and you guys know, like, I'm a big workout enthusiast. You know, it's important to me in my life. I've done videos on it before. The fact that this guy actually told his personal trainer, I'm not working out. You're Batman. You need to work out. You can't just tell your personal trainer, oh, I'm not coming in to work out today. That's just a negative male stereotype. You've got to be kidding me. You can't just, you know, shirk your duties as Batman because you don't feel a certain way. If you don't want to work out, if you don't want to do that, don't take the role. Don't do it. Do not take the role and be Batman if you're not going to work out, if you're not going to look the part. It's worse enough that you do not look the part, but you're also going to not even have the body to do it. I mean, really, I get it, like, you know, he's covered up and everything, but there's going to be shots of him as Bruce Wayne. So, and unless they're planning to, like, alter the way how he looks in this movie, you know, like, digitally, add some CGI muscles or something like that, I don't get it. Like, I did not like the lead into this. I did not like the things that I was reading in the quotes from Robert Pattinson. So when I see him on the screen, I'm sorry, I'm not going to have, like, respect for the guy and the role. Because every Batman has been dedicated to their physique. Because Batman is ripped. Batman is a bodybuilder. Batman is a powerful guy. Because he does not have superpowers. He relies on his gadgets, his brain, and his physique, his own personal power. So he trains himself, so it gives the illusion that he's, you know, that he does have super strength at times because he's so strong from working out so vigorously. So it is really just disturbing to me that this guy just thinks he could come along and just rewrite the way how Batman is, and how he was not fired or dismissed, or however you want to say it, from this role for that very fact. I don't know. I just don't know how he got away with that without working out. And I'd be very interested to see in the final product, in the final film, how this is going to come off. Unless they're really just going to cover him up through the full thing. But, you know, if you noticed, like, when they were showing Bruce Wayne, they weren't really doing anything full body. It was just close-ups on his face. So he probably looks like crap. I'm just going to say. I'm just saying, because it was really funny to me that in the Twilight movies, they would show this guy shirtless, and he was just like a twig. You know, he's just no physique at all. So, you know, and I get it. This guy's done some movies like The Lighthouse and other things. I haven't seen it, but they look interesting, and I do want to see them. And I get that this guy's really grown as an actor, and there's a lot of people that like him. And, you know, those Twilight movies, they were like over a decade ago, most of them. So he's grown. He's a different actor. He's a lot older now. You know, this guy is a full-on adult that's really acted alongside some other really great actors. And I get that, and I respect, you know, him for growing as an actor. But it didn't really seem like he took this role very seriously, you know, just from the offset. I know it's not fair to judge because we're not seeing him in the movie, but I will tell you this, you know, if you're not going to work out, like, what else do you do as an actor besides memorizing your lines and acting them? You're supposed to, like, concentrate on your appearance. So, I don't know, this guy went for facials and stuff like that, haircuts and things like that, but, like, I don't know, you know, maybe he got a Brazilian wax or something like that for the film, but it didn't work out, or if he did, he barely did, because he told his trainer that he feels that working out is like some type of negative male stereotype. So, I'm watching this guy on the screen, and all I'm hearing is, I'm not you know, I'm not hearing like or seeing Batman. I'm seeing a guy that's just opposed to working out for some weird like social reason, and I'm getting more of this type of attitude from him than not really this. You know, sorry, it's just, like, I don't know. And then when I saw him there, and the way, just like I'm saying, how they made him up for the film, it just does not look good in this role. I was watching this trailer, and I'm just like, like I said, it's not a bad trailer, but I'm not really getting, like, this is Batman here. Like when I saw like the Batman Begins trailer, the Dark Knight trailer, you know, or Ben Affleck, you know, how he looked in Justice League, or, you know, Batman versus Superman. Say what you will about those movies, but that was a really good interpretation of Batman. Ben Affleck, you know, as he got older, got this mature look, he looks hard. I'm just saying this, say what you want about those movies with Ben Affleck, but Ben Affleck just looks so much better as Bruce Wayne. I mean, he just and I get this is a younger oh, he's younger. Okay, so we'll say that, yeah. Disclaimer, younger Batman. But I'm just saying, but like, he was just a better Batman, a way better look for Batman. This guy just looks, he looks too much like a kid. And I get that this is still early Batman, and that's kind of the intent. But, like, also, this is the other thing. I'm just really getting sick of, like, going back to the beginning. Like, going back to the beginning of Batman again. We just did a Dark Knight trilogy, and I get, like, you know, Batman Begins came out in 2005, you know, and so that's, like, a while ago now. Understandable. I get that and everything. But, like, we're going back again. I like going forward more. Like, I liked seeing the older Batman, a Batman that really just doesn't give a crap anymore. That was a better Batman. That's more of a Batman that I want to see. You know, it's the same thing when it came to Spider-Man. I'm not really, they're good movies. I did enjoy the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, but this is just a little too young for me. I really don't want to see like a 15-year-old on my movie screen. I'd rather see a Tobey Maguire aged Spider-Man, or, you know, just a Spider-Man that's like in his 20s or 30s. Like, I don't want to see like these younger superheroes that are like underdeveloped. It's not interesting to me. I like to see them at fuller capacity. You know, I'm just so sick. This is what comes of the numerous reboots and rehashes, and, you know, just constantly going back to the well one too many times. You know, I'm just fine with Ben Affleck being in Flash. I really don't need this movie. I will see it. I will be interested in viewing it and seeing what my final opinion is on it. And hey, maybe I might like it. Maybe that might happen. Maybe I'll change my tune completely. I'll do a total 180 and end up loving this movie and everything that it has to offer. But to be quite honest, I really don't see that happening. I just really don't. I think it might be an okay movie. I don't think I'm going to hate it. But I think, like, going into it, I'm going to probably still carry a lot of that. And people will say I'm going to have, like, a bad attitude going into it. But I'm just not really super excited for it. I don't really see this being one of the best Batman movies. Like, let me ask you a question, guys. Like, honestly, let me know in the comments. Do you really think that this movie is going to end up being better than the Christian Bale Batman? Do you really think it's going to be better than the Dark Knight trilogy? Do you really think it's going to be better than the Michael Keaton films? Because here's the thing also, what I want to say. I really did not like Batman Returns because it was too dark and depressing. You know, and like, really, like, the first Batman movie by Tim Burton was so great. It's the same director and the same actor, Michael Keaton, but the change in tone, you know, and Jack Nicholson, like, he was dark at times, but he was also funny, and just, that's what I'm saying. Like, I would really like that balance. And the Riddler's just going to be, like, he's going to be a serial killer here. He's not going to be the fun, entertaining Riddler that we've known and grown with for years. Like, you know what I'm saying? like, even in the Arkham games, he still was, you know, a funny character, and that's kind of the appeal of him, because, like, it's a big joke to him, and he's really, like, killing people and putting people's lives in jeopardy. Now they're gonna make him just like any other murderer, and I'm not really into that type of Riddler. Maybe the execution will be great, and maybe they're gonna do something that's gonna really wow me, but I'm seeing this as just like, I'm seeing a lot of this really is not, I don't want to say a recipe for disaster, but like just kind of setting up a lot of things here that are just not really in tune with the way I want to see Batman. This is a lot of personal opinions. I know a lot of people are going to drastically dislike these opinions and disagree with these opinions, and you have every right to, because, hey, they're just opinions. But really, you know, everyone always says, read the comics, right? Well, with that in mind, can you really disagree with a lot of what I'm saying here? Because a lot of this is comic based, right? The way how the Riddler is and everything. There might have been some other comics that I have not read where they did a darker take on the Riddler, and if that is the case, that probably is the case, because there's been so many iterations, and that's the problem. A lot of those iterations are not very good. You know, I'm just going to be perfectly honest. You know, a lot of these newer iterations, like on Spider-Man stuff, I don't really like them. I think they've really taken the characters away from their origins, and they've changed a lot of their personalities and their appearances. And I know that's a lot of nostalgia talk, and people will really just hate on me for that, for having those opinions, because they're too, you know, steeped in nostalgia. And the people say, like, nostalgia is a dirty word, but I don't think that it is. Because sometimes it's that nostalgia that keeps those characters grounded. It might prevent certain characters from growing, but if a character has a certain personality, you know, and all you're doing is just rebooting and retooling that personality, it's not really growth. You're just completely rewriting a character at the end of the day. So I think I've said enough. You know, the trailer is only like, what, 2.5 minutes or something like that. But this is just generally like my impression from it, my predictions for it, my first impressions. So guys, let me know what you thought of the trailer down below. Like I said, I'm not thrilled with it. Once again, I'm going to reiterate, I did not think it was a bad trailer by any means. But I'm just saying it didn't wow me. I'm not super excited. I wasn't rocketing off my chair, going through my roof, you know, by watching this thing. I'm just saying it didn't wow me. But anyway, guys, hope you all enjoyed the video here. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support, and thank you all for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.